This is Occupier Kaling coming to you live from the Cook's Loft at the Des Moines Social Club. This is Global Zero, Countdown to Zero is the hashtag that I put on it besides hashtag no nukes. This is a coalition of groups that are trying to take down all nuclear weapons. Currently in stockpile production. And so there will be some speakers, but right now people are getting food. So you hear chatter behind me. But so I got a little food. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy my supper. And there will be several speakers, and they'll talk about the campaign and what people can do to take part. And so this is scheduled for 2 hours, or maybe longer, who knows. But stay tuned, so it should be starting soon. Oops, accidentally. Trying to get it closer to the table. It's not sticking out so much. I got my phone mounted on my tripod. Again, for those just joining me, this is Occupier Kaling coming to you live from the Cook's Loft at the Des Moines Social Club. This is a kickoff party for the Global Zero, Countdown to Zero nuclear weapons campaign. And there will be several speakers. Right now, people are getting food. And so I got some supper that I'll be enjoying while we wait for the first speaker to come up. So people are trickling in. And these different speakers represent the members of this coalition, and they'll describe how people can get involved in this campaign to get rid of nuclear weapons. Not only those that are currently in stockpile, but those in production and those being proposed. And the money for nuclear weapons can be better spent meeting the needs of people in the countries that have the nuclear weapons. And the U.S. has so dang many of them. We don't need that many. The money that builds and maintains them can be better used to meet the needs of the poor, the disabled, veterans, especially those who have physical and psychological injuries, education, health care, support for small family farms, and all kinds of things that would benefit the people more than the nuclear weapons. So I think this will be an interesting event, and so they should be getting started pretty soon. So stay tuned. Hey, you haven't I seen you summer before? That was my good comrade Chet, who is a retired Methodist minister. He is an activist on all kinds of issues. Food justice, food sovereignty, social justice, human rights, Palestinian rights especially, organic agriculture, sustainable energy, sustainable agriculture, all kinds of things. And he's a big supporter of Occupy Des Moines. And my first aid tent came courtesy of him. And when someone had donated a tent for, I decided that he should have it. Well, we came to a decision as a group that he should have it, since that tent that I used did not cover for. So I thought, why not give it to him? That way it will give him more options in using it. So it'd be more accommodating to different kinds of events that he wants to hold it. Right now people are having supper, just chips and crackers and cheeses, assorted meats and sandwiches, cookies, coffee or soda. And veggies. Only if you have a dupa to put on it. If you have a dupa to put on it. Dupa is backside in Polish. Dupa is backside in Polish. I'm live streaming, by the way.
Are you enjoying?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
There's more goodies like this. I will have 3 more people sitting at my table, so you'll hear conversations. I'm just leaving my phone on my tripod since it's kind of unwieldy to try to move it around. Plus, I want to eat my supper while we wait for the speaker to come up.
No, I'm.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm David. Good to see you.
Yeah. How goes it?
So, what do you do with all the?
The video?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I get home, because I'm using Ustream, I can tell Ustream to put these videos up on YouTube, and that's where I keep them archived for future viewing.
Excellent.
And people who want my YouTube channel or know it can go look at it later.
Well, it's great of you to film all these events. I've seen you at many things.
Yeah, and I missed a couple because I thought one that was Friday night, I thought it was last night. I thought, oh crap. And then there was another one that I was interested in, but I did Food Not Bombs today, so...
Did you go to Alison Weir's presentation Friday?
No.
Okay, I was there.
No, that's the one I missed because
what you
I
missed?
thought it was last night.
Gotcha. It was
got
good.
mixed up.
It was quite good. Yeah. Oh yes, I'm gonna talk about that.
I was the guy who was asking me what I do with all the videos I shoot. So he said one I didn't quite get to say. That one did not get up on YouTube.
Hey guys, thank you so much for coming. I just want to say, please grab food, mingle. We'll get the program started in just a couple minutes. But really delicious food, drinks, and all of that. And don't forget to check out our street art in the back with artist Joe Hill. Thank you.
That's okay.
Hey, I see you filming all these events.
Yep.
What do you do with the videos?
When I get home, I go onto my Ustream channel page and I tell Ustream to put it up on YouTube.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. That way, see, I have a free Ustream account. I don't have one where I pay for extra storage on their server. So after 30 days, they dump. But because I put them up on YouTube, that way I can preserve them because YouTube doesn't dump after a certain amount of time.
Very good. Do they eventually dump?
I'm sorry?
Do they eventually dump YouTube?
Probably not unless someone complains, make a serious complaint.
Okay.
If someone says that my video is offensive, if they find that it is, then they drop it. But otherwise, you know, if it's not, then they leave it alone. You know. But I've had videos up on YouTube for quite a few years.
think your YouTube site you go to see your videos?
Well, the channel is just, the channel name is just my name, Kaylin String.
Okay. So if I Google that, it would come up or YouTube?
Yeah, yeah,
On YouTube?
and I forgot to put the URL to my Ustream site into the event page,
Okay.
but that's okay. But if people want it, I'll gladly give it to them. Someone even asked me for business cards. No, I don't have any, but maybe when I get some extra money, I'll get on Vistaprint and have them knock me out a few.
That'd be a good idea.
I mean, their base pack is like just $5 or is it 100? I don't know.
Maybe you could do both.
Yeah.
Put it on YouTube and also sell. For those who
Well,
want.
I turned what's called monetization on my YouTube videos so that people that see them, the ads that pop up, they will see the ad, and regardless of whether they click on it or not, I could earn a few cents per view. And I just decided to do that recently as a way to help me cover the cost of my live streaming because I eat a huge data plan, even though I'm paying off with a building Wi-Fi here.
How do you earn the few cents on what site?
On YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube.
Yeah.
And what do you have to do in order
You fill out an application on some site that ad share, something like that. YouTube has a link to it.
Yeah, that's
And then as long as your videos do not have any copyright issues, then you can turn on the monetization. It's basically just like earning your few cents. Think of it as like a royalty system.
Thank folks that go to all
that guy's trying to take a picture or video or what. Yeah, the lighting in here is kind of weird. Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Yeah. And sometimes not where you want it.
How do you hear about it?
I see him on Facebook.
Okay.
Some I get emails about with their email subscriptions that I'm in. And sometimes people in my activist circles just hear about them and tell me about them, so I find out about them that way.
Do the event sponsors themselves sometimes for you?
I have had a couple like that.
Okay.
But usually I initiate I ask if I can stream.
Uh-huh.
Or if it's just a total public event, then, they don't care. I do it anyway.
I have to stand up to get this over.
Well, I'll do it for you.
Well, thank you. That's the first time I've ever flunked getting a can open.
Some cans are more stubborn than others.
Yeah, similar. They're good stuff.
Each pair does nothing like anything.
I know. Anything brings it that way. How are you, Chet? Chet?
What are you doing here? You're supposed to be at the theater group.
I'm in there also.
Have you?
I am at both places right now.
You're a good man.
Thank you. Please.
My name is Brittany. I'm the new Iowa Field Fellow for Global Affairs.
Really good. Thank you for watching this.
What's your name? Charlie? Alright, where are you from?
I'm from Des Moines.
Alright, awesome.
This is Sherry.
Sherry? Brittany. Kimsey. Brittany. Brittany, yeah. Like Spears.
But with more brains.
Yes, thank you. What's your name?
Caitlin?
Caitlin?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I'm live streaming, by the way.
Awesome.
And we're
Sorry, from Des Moines as
this will
well?
be drinking
Yeah, I'm a
hot
local.
toddy. That was the
Okay,
way I was going to get that.
A barely East Sider.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the new field fellow for Iowa. Yes.
Good for you.
Yeah, so I'll be coordinating actions around the state and things like that.
Have you heard of a longtime anti-tobacconist named Jane Majors?
I don't know her. Is she from Iowa?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. She has been active against snus for many, many years.
Is she planning on being here today?
I have no idea. I haven't had any emails from her, so I don't know if she has the same email address or what, but I tried to tag her on Facebook, but probably she's not on Facebook.
I'd like to get to know her in the future. Seems cool.
Somebody said they were.
Okay.
She did start something called the Jane Foundation, but that's more with working with kids.
Okay, that's cool.
But I don't know if you Google that and then Des Moines,
Okay.
if that will come up, you might be able to find her that way.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright, well, I just wanted to introduce myself, so now you'll, yeah, no problem. Nice to meet you.
People are still socializing, mingling, getting food and drink. So the first speaker should come up in a minute or two, hopefully. This culinary loft is set up for doing cooking demos and classes, things that relate to food. And so, since there's going to be food at this kickoff party, I guess they decided that this space was available, so they'd use it.
This cookie is a real one.
Yeah.
You guys hear me? Yes? Thumbs up? Excellent. Hello, hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Race to Zero 2016 Kickoff Party. Woo woo! We are so pleased to have all of you here with us tonight in Des Moines, the heartland of America, and every 4 years, the beating heart of presidential politics. Thank you all so much for coming out. I'm Meredith Rowski, and I am the Global Campaign Director at Global Zero. For those of you who were inspired by the hors d'oeuvres, Global Zero is the international movement for the phased, verified elimination of all nuclear weapons everywhere.
Yeah.
Global Zero is nonpartisan, we are pragmatic, and we are laser focused on what's achievable. We're led by 300 leading security experts, scientists, four-star military generals, foreign ministers, basically lots of very smart people with very serious credentials who have mapped the road to Global Zero. But most importantly, behind these eminent world leaders, we have a powerful grassroots movement of more than 500,000 people around the world who are taking action every single day to eliminate nuclear weapons. We bring together students, mothers, business and military leaders, politicians, people of faith, cultural icons, all united with one view, that nuclear weapons have absolutely no place in the 21st century. We believe that national security, let alone global security, can't be built on threats of mass destruction. The ability to completely annihilate populations, infrastructure, the environment, does not make us safer or more secure. Now, I know this might be shocking, but I am not one of Global Zero's nuclear security experts. I am a campaigner with a passion for building social movements, whose job it is to get the public on board to tackle one of the single greatest humanitarian issues of our generation and bring world leaders along that path with us. But I'll be the first to admit that is not an easy task. I can tell you honestly, this issue is hard. It is complicated, and it's messy, and it's scary, and Putin is misbehaving and making our work even more difficult. But it's also the greatest existential threat facing humanity. And today, exactly 1 year from the 2016 presidential election, we have an amazing opportunity to take this issue back. My friends over at the Department of Defense often say, Meredith, Global Zero, it's so naive. And I have to politely remind them that their former boss and former Secretary of Defense, Chuck Hagel, is a Global Zero supporter and co-authored one of our reports. And that four-star generals, like Colin Powell, have deemed nuclear weapons useless. Advocates for Global Zero across the political spectrum have become mainstream, and those who oppose it increasingly in the margins. But we still have a long way to go. There's still over 15,000 nuclear weapons today, many of which are hundreds of times more powerful than those used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Thousands of these weapons of war remain on air trigger alert, locked and loaded, ready to be fired at a moment's notice, vulnerable to accidents, false alarms, cyber attacks. Meanwhile, groups like ISIS are working every day to buy or steal a nuclear weapon. And as though that's not enough, we are currently set to spend $1 trillion over the next 3 decades overhauling our US arsenal. That's $1 trillion on weapons that fail to address today's security challenges. When our country is in debt, when the ranks of the poor and the hungry are growing at a record pace, when our schools are failing, when we need to build a new energy system from the ground up. Nuclear weapons are out of sync with the law, they're out of sync with our security needs, they're out of sync with our national priorities, and they are out of sync with the future that we want to create. But there's hope, I promise. We are making progress. Since the height of the Cold War, we've cut global nuclear stockpiles by 80%. And that's in large part because for more than 4 decades, every American president has worked to reduce US and global nuclear stockpiles. The US arsenal alone is down from 40,000 nuclear weapons at the height of the Cold War to about 5,000 today. We're now within striking distance of Global Zero. This is a real probability. We're also at a pivotal moment for this mission. We just scored a major nuclear deal with Iran that represents the single greatest breakthrough in arms control in decades. This deal, which Global Zero advocates and many others worked tirelessly to secure, removes one of the biggest arguments that people made and have made against Global Zero, which is that we can't get to Global Zero because countries like Iran will never give up their pursuit of nuclear weapons. With this deal, we proved those skeptics wrong. It also gives us a model for multilateral negotiation, verification, enforcement that we can use to pursue real global disarmament. But yet, on the other hand, global tensions are at an all-time high in regions like the Middle East, and countries like Pakistan and North Korea are building up their nuclear arsenals. As the world becomes increasingly more fractured, the risks that nuclear weapons will be used are greater than ever. So we've reached a fork in the road. We can accelerate this trajectory towards a world without nuclear weapons, or we can accept a future in which they will inevitably be used again. There's no more important figure in determining which path we take than the American president. The United States has always been and will continue to be the global leader on this issue. And that's why the campaign we're launching tonight, Race to Zero, is so critical. It is up to people like us to make sure when the next president enters office in January of 2016, he or she is ready to work boldly and urgently for a world without nuclear weapons. And to do it, we need a chorus of voices, people like you calling for change each and every day. I'll conclude by saying that we know we face many challenges on the road to zero. But generations from now, the world will recall that the greatest advances of the human condition, from the end of slavery to the fall of the Berlin Wall, were driven by our refusal to accept that the world cannot change. With people like you at our side, I know they will say the same with nuclear weapons. Here tonight to introduce our new campaign and tell you how you can get more involved is our Deputy Campaign Director and my good friend, Samantha Meyer. Please join me in welcoming Sam.
Thanks, Rich. Can everyone hear me? No. Might have to weirdly lean forward, so. Thanks, Mayor. As Mayor said, my name is Sam. I'm Global Zero's Deputy Campaign Director. Really excited to have you all in the room today. We've been planning this for so long, and it's always so exciting to see everyone actually in the room, so thank you for being here. I work with Zach and our field organizers who organize groups of people just like you to make an impact in their communities. So we would truly be nothing without you all, so thank you again for being here. So a little bit about Race to Zero, the campaign we're all here to kick off today. There we go. This is better. So as Maria said, for more than 4 decades, every American president has worked to reduce the number of nuclear weapons that the U.S. has. Eliminating nuclear weapons is not a partisan issue. When it comes to nuclear weapons, our collective future hangs in the balance. The fight to eliminate nuclear weapons is an American legacy that we should all be proud of and that everyone can agree on. The next president will have a choice: to advance the legacy of the past administrations or to accept the future in which, if we have nuclear weapons, they will be used to devastating effect. And it's up to us, everyone in this room, to show candidates that there is a broad base that expects the next president to take swift and bold action on eliminating nuclear weapons. So with that said, 2016 is a really critical time for the nuclear weapons movement. Through the advocacy that you amazing volunteers in this room are going to be engaging in with Zach's lead, he'll tell you a bit more about that soon, our voices will be heard. The presidential race is a real chance to make sure that the next administration, whether Republican or Democrat, will take action to get us closer to zero. To put this work into perspective, I came to Global Zero recently from a campaign where I saw this tactic in action the last 3 elections. I've personally seen candidates change their minds after being pressured by potential voters. I worked on an anti-poverty campaign, and a candidate running for House who couldn't have cared less about fighting poverty now wears their campaign's wristband every single day in Congress because volunteers showed up at his events and educated him. So advocacy really does work, I can promise you that. And when put into action on the scale that we're launching here in Iowa, we're going to be unstoppable. And with Race to Zero, we really have 3 huge advantages. With members of Congress, they're pretty different because they only have to listen to their constituents. But with a campaign like Race to Zero, who's targeting presidential candidates, we're all potential voters for each candidate. They'll listen to us because they're trying to get our vote, which transfers the power to us. The second advantage is that at this point in the campaign, none of the candidates have taken formal positions on nuclear weapons. We're not trying to change the existing policy of a sitting president, which is much harder, if not impossible to do. So we're able to get in front of these people before one of them is elected and show them that we expect them to take bold action on nuclear weapons, and they actually have an incentive to listen to us. The third is that no engagement with a candidate is ever a waste. We're going to target all the candidates in this election, and most of them will be president. So whoever is elected is going to continue to be a really influential force in their community and grass tops, and a big influence in politics in the future. So if they know Global Zero, it's a win. So I would say, let's make them listen. But the fact is, they're already listening. We're here today to officially launch Race to Zero, but we actually started a sort of soft initial launch about a month ago with some initial candidate engagement. And in that month, we've intercepted candidates 30 times. As an organizer, I always say no real number ends in zero, but that actually is a real number. So John Kasich actually said to a volunteer a few weeks ago at a rally, he said, "Have I met you before?" And our organizer said, "No, it's my first time out here." And said, "All right, you have a team out there, that's good." So you've been seeing volunteers all around the country. And a few weeks ago, Hillary Clinton recognized the Global Zero volunteer shirt and said, "Wow, I see you guys everywhere." And the next time we saw her, she said, "I really look forward to working with you to eliminate nuclear weapons." And we even had some campaign staff ask for our official policy recommendations. So this is huge, and it's working, but it's just the beginning of what we'll accomplish in the next year. So it's time to amp this up in a really big way, which is why we're so excited to have you all here. We're going to make sure that no matter who's elected, they know we mean business. So that's the heart of Race to Zero. We're going to act together to show presidential candidates that there's a strong base that expects them to act on this issue. So Zach's going to hop on after our keynote speaks. He's going to tell you a lot of specifics. You can join us in Iowa in the next couple weeks on the campaign trail. But in the meantime, be sure to tweet throughout the night using the hashtag #RaceToZero. Just #RaceToZero right there. And be sure to visit our newly launched site, globalzero.org/2016, and sign our petition. Okay, so I'm going to introduce our rockstar volunteer and Iowa Field Fellow, Brittany. She comes to us from the University of Iowa, where she's a senior and led one of our country's best volunteer chapters. We're excited to have you, Brittany.
Thank you, everyone. It's great to see all of you here today. So I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker, Ward Wilson. Ward is a senior fellow at the British American Security Information Council and is widely acknowledged as the leading source of pragmatic arguments against nuclear weapons in the world today. He's an award-winning author who has been published in many notable journals, such as the Chicago Tribune, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Times. Ward is often called upon to speak at venues such as the Pentagon, the U.S. State Department, and the United Nations, so it's a pleasure to have him here. Ward's book, 5 Myths About Nuclear Weapons, has been highly endorsed by many experts in the field and was a great inspiration for me personally. I first heard Ward speak in May of this year, and I was extremely motivated to take action to eliminate nuclear weapons. And I'm certain that you all will feel the same as soon as you hear him speak. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Ward Wilson.
Thank you. Just organized here. Now, yeah. So shout at me if you can't hear me. And if the flashing light behind me gets on your nerves, let me know. I'm assuming that we all think nuclear weapons are a pretty bad deal, and that we'd like to see them go away. But I'm also assuming that there's a fair amount of skepticism that Global Zero is anything but a nice dream, because that's the way a lot of people feel about it. But a lot of people are wrong. Very near future, not in some far off never land. And I think these things not because I hope for a